Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the first two episodes of It. Welcome to Derry. The director of the two It films, It Chapter 1 and It Chapter 2, Andy Muschietti, returns here to direct some of these and is heavily involved. And it stars, we've got Bill Skarsgård obviously returning as Pennywise, and we've got a lot of other familiar faces like James Remar and a new host of kids in this show. Right, okay, so Welcome to Derry. What can you expect from, well, this series as a whole, potentially, and certainly the first two episodes? Well, it's focused in the 1960s, in specifically 1962, in Derry. So it's more along the timeline of the mini-series from the 90s, which is set in, is it the 50s, I think? Something like that. So it feels, quite familiar to us out there who enjoy that mini-series. And we've got a new group of children. We've got one... a child has gone missing, which has caused great unrest within the community. They've all got their ideas who's done it. They're all pointing the fingers at the wrong people. His friends decide to try and figure out what's going on. So the first two episodes really focus on these kids kind of getting together. It focuses on this colonel from like the Air Force that has moved to the local area, and he's working at the military base. And essentially, we have the majority of these first two episodes is these kids getting increasingly scared by visions that they're seeing. As obviously it is Pennywise targeting them with their greatest fears. So we see quite a few sequences of these kids facing their greatest fears and absolutely getting terrified as a result of it. We see quite a lot of this, colonel at this Air Force base being targeted because of his race and all this kind of stuff, because of the colour of his skin. But one thing we don't get in these first two episodes is a great deal of Pennywise, if at all, really. So, what are my thoughts on this series so far? Well, I think it's clear that this has got an awful lot of polish here. The production values are outstanding. It feels like a cinema release on the small screen in regards to that. Like I say, the group of kids, feel quite similar to the kids that we had in the movies, in regards to the fact that they're all outsiders, i.e., the losers club type of thing. But it's a little bit all over the place, these first two episodes. Now, that's not to say that some of the scares that we get in the first two episodes are not effective, because they absolutely are. Very, very good, in fact. I really enjoyed them for the most part. But to not give us really a glimpse of Pennywise in the first couple of episodes, I think is a mistake. It feels like this is going to be a 10-episode show that probably could have been told in 6. I think they're going to kind of stretch it out a little bit, and I hope that's not the case, because we all want lashings of Pennywise. Bill Skarsgård won us all over with It Chapter 1 and It Chapter 2 with his portrayal of Pennywise. And there's a genuine debate out there now as to, who's the best Pennywise, and I think he's shifting in ahead of Tim Curry now, potentially with this show and his portrayal of Pennywise. But we need to see him. The whole storyline with the airline base. I don't even remember there being an Air Force base or a military base in Derry. I don't remember it being mentioned in the miniseries. I don't remember it being mentioned in It Chapter 1, It Chapter 2. It's a long time since I've read the book. I don't even remember it being in the book. So is this just been created for the show? The whole idea of the military looking for this weapon in Derry. What are they on about? How do they know about Pennywise? This fear weapon, as they kind of explain it to be. I mean, some might see that as a bit of a spoiler on my part, but it's not really because they don't show you anything. I don't know. It feels like they've given us a lot in the first couple of episodes to kind of chew over a little bit, but it doesn't feel like. I mean, sometimes you'll watch a show, the first couple of episodes, like laying the foundation for what's to come, sort of thing. And I think it's trying to do that, but it's almost maybe trying too hard, while missing the whole point of the fact that we all are going into it. Welcome to Derry to see Pennywise, really, to see him cause more chaos and mayhem. And we're not really getting that. Not in the way that we kind of hoped we were going to get it. I thought the end of episode 1 was really good, though. There's something that happens at the end of episode 1 that really kind of shocks you a little bit. And then at the end of episode 2, they completely, they don't commit to that. And I thought that would have been a really, really smart move to kind of go down that route at the end of episode 1 to do this thing with these kids that you've all been introduced to, and then having to kind of restart from episode 2 onwards, sort of thing. I think that would have been effective. It would have said to everybody, aha, you don't know what's going to happen in this show. You're going to have to keep on your toes here. And I thought that was a massive missed opportunity from my part, because I was really invested in what they were doing, and I thought it was a brave decision at the end of episode 1, but they didn't, as I've said, commit to it. But, I mean, as I've said, there are some really effective visual like scares that going on here that are like tapping into these kids' fears that I think work quite well for the show. And there's some really disturbing visuals, and I thought the effects were absolutely outstanding for the most part. There's like this demonic baby thing that was heavily CGI'd that I wasn't so keen on, if I'm being particularly honest. So I think what we've got here is an interesting start to the show that I think has probably stretched out over 2 episodes what it could have filled in 1 episode. It feels like, I don't know if the right word is to say they're letting the show breathe a bit. And but get me wrong, I don't mind that to some degree, lots of character development and this, that and the other, but my worry is, like I said, they're going to stretch this out over a whole 10-episode series. Material that either could have been another movie or even potentially 2 movies, which potentially I would personally probably have preferred in that sense. So I'm giving it a 7 out of 10 for the first 2 episodes. Massive potential there, great effects, great direction, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of pieces of the puzzle being put here, but I just don't feel as though the first 2 episodes really grabbed me and shook me and said, you can't miss this show. So I'm hoping that the show really finds its feet and really gets some traction and starts scaring the pants off me and gives us lots of Pennywise. And then I will come back and review it at the end of 10 episodes, and I might be absolutely glowing and singing its praises, and I'm hoping that's the case. So thanks for joining me, guys, for this episode 1 and 2 review. I will be back with plenty more content on the channel very, very soon.